Guys, what don't you like about girls' appearance that you have to politely keep quiet about? When they marinate themselves in perfume. By the way, I haven't noticed this with young girls, but with women over 50, you smell them first, and only then do they appear in your field of vision. 50-year-old women of Reddit, why so much perfume? Most likely, it has something to do with our senses dulling with age. I work in a beer and wine bar, and a crazy number of women over 50 who love their wine come in, and it seems to me they can't distinguish any tastes or smells at all. Except for their own perfume, of course. Jeans and shorts with a high waist. I don't particularly like it when girls wear those huge hoop earrings that you can freely slip your hand through. As a child, I saw a kid tug on such a giant earring and tear the woman's earlobe. Since then, I've felt terrible anxiety when I see anything that's bigger than it should be. Face tattoos. The closer a tattoo is to a hole, the more fucked up the person is. When they shave off their eyebrows completely and then draw some scribbles with a pencil. What do you think? Would they react if guys did the same thing, for example, with a mustache? Why the hell is this trend even popular? We need to find patient zero who came up with this nonsense. Laughed about the mustache. Guys, please try this option. Fortunately, those thin, drawn-on eyebrows are a mostly dead trend from the late 90s and 2000s. Thick eyebrows are in fashion now. I'm about to surprise you. I once told my girlfriend that I don't understand why they shave their eyebrows and draw new ones over them. It's weird. She laughed at me and replied that the vast majority of girls do not shave their eyebrows, like 99.99% don't shave. It's just that many girls have no eyebrows by nature, possibly from a lack of testosterone. She said that almost any girl would like to have natural, well-defined eyebrows, but not everyone is given that. Edited. Let me rephrase. Girls have eyebrows. It's just that they are so sparse and thin that it seems like they've been shaved off. Testosterone, among other hormones, really does affect hair growth. Lip injections that make them bigger. In my opinion, such lips look very stupid, as if the girl was bitten by a bee. When young girls overdo it with this, they immediately look 20 to 30 years older. Like when Kylie Jenner first got her lips done, it looked okay. But now she looks more like an extra from The Real Housewives. The problem is that we only notice the bad injections. The ones that look good don't attract such attention. Giant asses from surgeries. Yes, they attract our attention, but it looks wildly ridiculous. I have nothing against plastic surgery, but it's time to understand that there is such a thing as overkill. Fuck, what's wrong with people? For me, a fake ass of any size is nonsense. By the way, deep squats are great for building your ass. It might not become huge, but it will definitely be decent. But then you shouldn't forget about the legs either. It looks so dumb when you see a big butt and don't see the thighs that should complement it. Duck faces in photos, a completely unattractive and annoying phenomenon. I don't get why girls think it's beautiful. In my opinion, it looks stupid. It's okay, usually it passes with age. I'm just getting used to Tinder, but I already see that a bunch of 40-year-old women have nothing but duck faces in their photos. Acrylic nails. Immediately, goodbye. A prime example is Leah Remini. I also have acrylics, but they are not pointy and long. I always get medium short nails because my nails are very weak and there's no point in painting them at all, as they immediately start to peel. I'm willing to bet that most guys in this thread who hate acrylic nails so much would never realize in real life that they aren't your natural nails. Girls, don't deceive guys with excessive Photoshop. If I come on a date and see that your appearance has nothing to do with the photos, then don't blame me for not falling for your deception. People think that if you start backing away upon seeing their real appearance, it means you're petty and only care about looks. But the truth is that in such situations, it's not so much the appearance that puts you off, but the very fact of deception. This always bugs me. It's as if people think you should only care about one thing, either personality or appearance, never both. I hate it when women who have voluminous and curly hair start straightening it. I'm generally a fan of girls with huge curly hairstyles. Rogue from the X-Men cartoons left a lasting impression on me. Where were you when I, at 15, was straightening my hair for an hour and a half every day? Because I thought only straight hair looked beautiful and feminine. To tell the truth, excess weight. This also applies to guys, by the way. Let me be a guy for a second and answer. Very long nails. When they are so huge, they resemble a claw. For me, a chef, they are immediately associated with bacteria. When I see such nails, I immediately imagine how difficult it must be for these poor girls to wipe themselves. and then I become curious how much shit gets stuck under such nails. Even though I'm a woman, I don't get this trend either, because with such nails, it's so hard to do ordinary tasks. I'm not saying this from my own experience, of course. It's just that I've seen bank employees with huge nails barely managing to pick up money from the table. Historically, long nails have always been a sign of wealth. After all, it was simply impossible to work with such nails. Plus, it meant that your household chores were handled by servants. Those fucking nose rings. I have no idea how that shit caught on. When I see them, I immediately remember Bebop. Just popped in to say, I adore septum piercings on girls. Monroe piercings fall into the same category. Tasteless shit resembling a huge pimple. I can't name anything specific, but I've noticed that I'm never attracted to girls with a supermodel appearance. With a perfect body, perfect face, perfect features, it's just not my thing. Girls with a normal appearance are way cooler than Summer Rae. I think that models aren't necessarily the most attractive people. The point is for them to have the ideal body for displaying clothes. Personally, the faces of many models remind me of some strange aliens. Supermodels among women are like bodybuilders among men. Both categories represent an ideal that both genders strive for, but at the same time, the opposite sex doesn't really like them that much. Enhanced breasts. I'm not a fan. I'd rather they just kept their normal tits. There might be a perception paradox here. The whole point is that you most likely notice the overly gigantic and obviously fake breasts. Because of this, you get the feeling that all breast augmentation implies such an over-the-top result. Although in reality, there are tons of augmented breasts around us that look so natural you wouldn't even notice them in a crowd. This applies to everything in this thread, really. Guys describe all sorts of things they don't like about girls' appearance, but don't realize that they only notice them when they are horribly done. It's like when guys say they don't like it when a girl wears makeup. Oh, you sure do like it. You just don't like it when it's too noticeable. Everyone is writing about the same thing, so I won't be original. Cake face. When there's so much makeup that the girl looks like she's wearing a cheap mask. Shaved off eyebrows. A complete nightmare. I understand that for older women, they thin out naturally. But I can't explain why 19-year-olds would draw clownish eyebrows on themselves. What the hell? I'm not talking about everyone. Some draw normal eyebrows on themselves. Right now, I'm specifically talking about those comical clownish eyebrows. Cake face. Once I met a girl on Tinder and invited her to the movies. While the movie was playing, we kissed a few times, and there were a couple of moments where she laid her head on my shoulder. No big deal. Then I get home and feel something's off. I look and the entire sleeve of my white shirt has turned beige because the girl used a fucking insane amount of powder. High-waisted jeans. Maybe I'm being too picky. I'm sure they are very comfortable. But ladies, a high waist doesn't do much for your waistline. You know, sometimes it seems like you're trying to suck in your stomach and tie it up with some tight material. I'm very, very sorry if this offended anyone. I didn't mean to wear what's comfortable for you. I want to speak to your manager haircut. A couple of days ago, I decided to get a bob because I was tired of my super long hair. When I got to the salon, I immediately asked not to be given that I want to speak to your manager look. In the end, the hairdresser did it slightly differently, but it was still on the edge. I wasn't entirely happy, but I refrained from complaining about her to the manager. Tattoos on the thighs, especially if she got a rose or some animal. I must say, this thread really surprised me. Not in a bad or good way, it's just that I would never have thought that the three most popular answers, drawn eyebrows, pumped up lips, high-waisted jeans, even concerned men in any way. You live and learn. Plus-size girls, and guys too, who wear clothes 2 sizes smaller than necessary. When I'm having dinner, I don't want to look at your belly hanging out. This applies to both women and men. I don't like it when people conform to some socially accepted archetype. When, for example, a certain haircut becomes popular, and for the next 6 months, you see hordes of clones on the streets. When they wear way too much makeup. I don't see anything attractive in a 3-centimeter layer of plaster. You just think you don't like a lot of it. You just don't like bright makeup or sloppily applied one. I think you'd be shocked if you knew how much makeup goes into a natural look. I remember in high school, one of my friends told me I looked cool without makeup. I had to inform him that he had never actually seen me without makeup. The desire to have a body with strange proportions. I don't need a giant ass. For me, the main thing is that it's proportional. And small breasts, by the way, I also really like. They are much more attractive than artificial bumpers. Girls without chins. It's not their fault. I would never point it out, but goddamn. And I'm not talking about she's so fat her neck has merged with her chin. I'm talking about those cases where you can draw a straight line from the neck to the lip. I think this applies to both genders. The lack of a chin doesn't do a guy any favors either. Yeah, for example, my acquaintance has a very weakly defined chin. When he shaves, he looks just awful, but thank God he can grow a thick enough beard to cover it up nicely. Of course, I'm pleased to read the answers in this thread, but when I communicate with my close guy friends and listen to them shit-talk their wives, somehow the #1 complaint is always excess weight. It seems like it's such a sensitive issue that it's hard to answer honestly, even anonymously. Joining them? I don't like plus-size girls. I hate talking about it because women can tear you to shreds for this. I like thin and average-sized girls. Those are my preferences. I love outdoor activities. I go to the gym to stay in shape and healthy, and I can't imagine how I would do all that if my girlfriend watched Netflix all day and ate junk food. Thank you very much for watching. In the comments below the video, guys, write what you don't like about girls' appearance that you have to politely keep quiet about. And don't forget to check out our other episodes. Bye.